Super Auto Pets released in 2021 and has always featured the option to play 1v1s with your friends. However, it wasn't until September 2023 that Ranked Super Auto Pets, or Versus Mode, was officially launched. This mode gave competitive players a chance to duke it out and attempt to rise up an official leaderboard, gaining elo and respect in the process. However, in August 2025, almost 2 years after Versus Mode launched, the ranked system was totally revamped. Now, at the start of every month, every player's elo is reset to the default 1500 rating, and then the race is on. At the end of the month, the top 3 players earn a cosmetic plaque that is visible to all opponents they meet, and the remaining top 5% of players earn a plaque that is only visible to them, sort of like a badge of honor. This new system has done away with the traditionally stagnant leaderboards, ushering in an exciting and fast-paced new experience for competitive SAP players. I have been in the competitive SAP space for about 2 years at this point, but due to some life commitments like moving country and the birth of my first child, my engagement has come and gone over those 2 years. But I decided that I would go all in for September, the second complete ranked month under this new system, and bring you, the viewer, along for the journey. Now, I was sneakily confident based on some sneaky preparation I had done in the build up to this month, but what happened took me completely by surprise. It was a story of rebirth, an unseen meta, surprise rises, allegations of cheating and foul play, and ultimately, a month that no one would ever forget. Okay, in order for this video to make sense, I need to briefly explain how Ranked Super Auto Pets works. Similar to chess, it uses the ELO system. When you queue for a game, you'll get matched with someone roughly the same level as you. Win the match and you will gain elo, lose the match and you will lose elo. Unlike chess, however, not all players in Super Auto Pets use the same pieces. I am currently working on a SAP movie set to release next month that will explain this in much greater detail. But for this video, I'll just say this. Super Auto Pets players have a choice of 6 packs to use in Versus Mode. Think of each pack like a deck, each having its own identity and playstyle. You'll get to know the packs more as the video progresses. I personally only play on Star Pack, or as I like to call it, the pack of 1,000 defenses. For the 2 years that I've been in competitive SAP, Star Pack has been one of the worst packs for most of that time. There was a brief moment where Star Pack was the meta, thanks to one pet and a playstyle that is beyond the scope of this video. But then that was brutally nerfed in a balance update, which is something the developers do every few months as they strive for a fair balance between the 6 packs. And after that nerf, Star Pack got left behind for most players. But not for me. I love Star Pack with all of my heart. And during August, the first ranked month of this new system, I felt confident that I'd figured out the best way to play the pack after the aforementioned nerfs. The interesting thing is that this playstyle was dramatically different to the accepted Star Pack meta, meaning both my fellow Star Pack players and my opponents were sure to be confused. Now, let's begin the games. September 1st, 2025. The first footage is me starting on day 1 at around 1500, and I'll use this as a chance to explain the mechanics of the game. Experienced SAP players, you may choose to skip to here if you want to jump past the tutorial, but if you are a newer player or you've never seen Super Auto Pets before, please watch this tutorial. It will set you up for the rest of the video, and I promise I will make it as engaging as I possibly can. Okay, we're into my first recorded game of the month. Every single game from here on out was recorded live. I'm starting at 1489 elo, meaning I must have lost a game or 2 to start the month. And there it is, my opponent has been found. Daddy Beers, an up-and-coming fellow Australian player who is on Turtle Pack, the most commonly played pack, and the free pack in Super Auto Pets. Turn 1. Every turn features a shop phase like this, where you spend 10 gold to improve your team. Pets from the shop cost 3 gold to buy, and now that I've spent my gold, the shop phase is over, and it's time to head into battle. Battles are completely automated. It is an auto battler after all, so you just sit back and enjoy the show. Okay, wait, what just happened? Pets smashed into each other and died? Let me explain. Each pet you buy, and every pet in the game, has an ability. Some abilities work in battle, other abilities work in the shop phase. So let's just look at Daddy Beers' Mosquito. At the start of battle, it will deal a 1 damage snipe to a random enemy. Pew pew! I get extremely lucky here as it misses my Chihuahuas, as they only have 1 health. The grey number below a pet is its attack, and the red number is its health. Now that any abilities have triggered, the animals start attacking each other or trading. The way that you position your team matters because the front pet of each team attacks first. The trade is a simple attack versus health proposition. If the attack of one pet is higher than the health of the other pet, that will be a knockout. And then the next trade happens, and the next trade, and if you lose a battle, you lose a life. If you lose all 6 of your lives during battles, you lose the match. Now let's skip to turn 3. And wait a minute, a new pet has appeared in my shop with like a number 2 on the dice above it? What's that all about? Let's understand this. The core mechanic of Super Auto Pets is that the shop is random. You can't just force your favorite pets or synergies because the shop is never guaranteed to give it to you. Let's take a look at my pack, Star Pack. It looks like this, broken down into 6 tiers. The basic concept is that the higher the tier, the stronger the pet. But the higher tiers only become available in your shop later in the game. On turns 1 and 2, only tier 1 is available in the shop. Turns 3 and 4, now the shop will offer you tier 1 and tier 2 pets. Turns 5 and 6, the shop will offer you tier 1, 2, and 3 pets, and so on until turn 11, where all the pets become available in the shop. In addition to buying pets for 3 gold, you can also roll for 1 gold, which will generate an entirely new randomized shop. Feel free to roll away until you find what you like, but chances are you'll die trying to find it. Instead, the art of the game is using your gold as efficiently as possible between buying immediate upgrades or rolling for specific things. To borrow a frame from my upcoming movie, because of this randomness in the shop, Super Auto Pets falls around here for luck versus skill. Prof Ninja here compared it to baseball or poker. The better player or team will usually win, but you'll need more than 1 game to find that out conclusively. Now, as we actually play turn 3, you'll notice I stack 3 Chihuahuas on top of each other. This is called a level up and does 2 things for me. Firstly, the Chihuahua's ability is now stronger. Secondly, a level up offers you a pet from the next tier, aka you get early access to a stronger pet. I am offered a Tuna or an Anteater, both tier 3 pets, that won't actually be available in my shop until turn 5. So finding 3 of a pet, also known as a triple, is crucial for improving your pet's abilities and getting stronger pets on your team earlier. Now skipping to turn 5, you're gonna see me buy a sausage. You heard me correctly, I bought a sausage. That's because in addition to spending your gold by buying pets or rolling, you can also spend gold on food and perks, which can give your team stat increases, ability increases, or even armor. Each pet, or each pack I should say, has its own pets, food, and perks that are unique to that pack. This sausage I bought gives me 1 free roll per turn. And now you understand the basics of SAP. Use gold to build your team. Try to navigate an RNG based shop by buying things you like or rolling for them. Then go into battle each turn and try to take 6 lives from your opponent before they take yours. Let's now head into the turn 7 battle. Both players have 5 lives left. Daddy Beers is building a summon team. This means he will prioritize units at the front that summon a new unit after they faint. Then he'll have units at the back like the turkey that help support these summoned units. My team hasn't found a clear synergy yet, as I'm setting up for a pivot, meaning I will wait patiently, try to save lives, then buy some strong tier 5s and 6s as they become available. Let's fast forward to turn 10, and pay attention to the unit at the back of my team, the Vulture. This is a tier 5 pet that will deal snipe damage every time 2 friendly units faint. I love the Vulture. Most Star Pack players respect the Vulture but rarely use it. I'm different. That is foreshadowing. Let's look at this battle as it slowly wears down Daddy Beers' team throughout the battle. And now on to turn 16. It is rare for a game to last this long, by the way, but here we are. My board has a lot of scaling, which means I have invested in pets that will increase my team's stats. And the Vulture and the Anteater are also giving me some helpful in-battle abilities. I spent this turn hard rolling for some good armor and found none. However, in the battle you can see that my team has just become too strong and we take the win. Then we do the same on turn 17 to secure the win, plus 12 elo for us. Okay, good job team. We have now made it through the tutorial. I think that will give you enough of the basics to access the gameplay now. And if there are some small things like pet abilities or anything that doesn't make sense yet, I promise you by the end of this video, it will. This was a solid day of grinding with nothing spectacular happening. Here's me beating Often on Danger Pack to rise to 1549 elo. So after a few days break, I played a game and then decided to check the leaderboard. Oh my god, Fanshi, an unknown player, had skyrocketed to 1764 elo. I was 200 behind the leader, and it was time to lock in. Then I lost to X-Ray on Golden Pack. Whoops. Next was Naughty User on Puppy Pack, which is arguably the strongest pack at the moment. The golden rule against Puppy Pack is that you want to win fast, because their tier 5s and 6s are terrifying. Luckily, because the Vulture is incredible, I'm able to win and gain 12 elo. Fast forward to later this day, I'm at 1577 elo and facing another Naughty player on Turtle Pack. By the way, if it says Naughty player, that just means they have a swear word in their username. I want to start this one on turn 5 and watch it in full, because this game highlights a key gameplay difference. Tempo versus long term. Okay, welcome to some unscripted commentary finally. This will be happening more as we go through this film. I've sort of set everything up at this point, so there'll be plenty of gameplay now and me just talking through my thoughts. So yeah, let's look at this idea of tempo versus long term. So remember, the objective of Super Auto Pets competitive 1v1 is to take 6 lives before your opponent. So there is this concept, as I'm sure there are in other games with a similar kind of live system. You can play fast, tempo, try to rip their lives away from them early, or you can play for the long term. And we're seeing this juxtaposition beautifully between my board and their board. If you look at my opponent's board, it's Crab, Giraffe, Swan, Rabbit. So those units, especially the Giraffe, Swan, and the Rabbit, they are all long-term pets. They do not give you much instant impact, but they set you up for a much stronger late game. The advantage is that late game, you'll be really strong if you play for the long term. The weakness of playing like this, you might die before you get there. My team, conversely, is chock-a-block with in-battle abilities, aka tempo. So, to be clear, you can't just play all tempo and win every game, because if you play for tempo and you don't kill your opponent early, you're done because their long term is so much stronger. I hope that makes clear sense. Without getting too deep in the weeds right here, he literally has one in battle ability, which is the crab gaining slightly more stats. His team is just all pure big number go up. So I'm at a crucial juncture here. Can I get over the line before he gets to the late game? He's got 2 lives remaining. I have literally all 5 of my pets have an in-battle ability. The Anteater in 3rd position, the Platypus in 2nd position, they're summon units. My front unit is holding a Seaweed, which means it's going to transform into a Sea Urchin in battle, which will drop stats. The Triceratops is an elite unit. You're going to see that a lot in this video, and you can see his numbers are bigger, but my abilities are bigger. And we're clearing through. Look how much stats this Triceratops is giving back. Every time the Triceratops gets hurt, it gives stats backwards. He's now on 1 life. And I actually moved slightly away from tempo. This is sort of a hedge. Like, if I don't win this round, maybe I'll win the following rounds. And let's see. If you look at his board, I don't want to spam the screen with abilities, but every single one of his pets relate to making the number go up. Making big number stats go up. Mine, I've found really nice tempo. And let's see here. It looks like this is going to be a lot to get through in this crab, right? But I've done something sneaky. I'm going to pause here. This Triceratops has a cheese on it, and cheese will make a unit attack for 15 damage. So even though he has garlic armor, it's not enough. My tempo has ran through, and this is something for you to consider as we move through this film. Tempo versus long term is an important factor, and some packs lean into it more heavily than others, and I'll get into that later, but yeah, that's tempo versus long term. And now onto the last game of this day. I'm playing against Vaughn on Turtle Pack, whose Big Badger was not enough. We secure the win, and a very clean 1600 elo to end the day. Let's take a brief detour here to talk about the packs in Super Auto Pets. So far in this video, you've seen me use my star pack against a variety of packs. And you may be wondering, which pack is the best pack? And why do people use different packs? Let me try to answer those questions right now. So remember, there are 6 packs in total, and of those 6 packs, Turtle Pack is the free pack, and the most commonly played pack. Traditionally, it has also been the strongest pack, which is important because then Super Auto Pets dodges the pay-to-win allegations. You can pay for the other 5 packs and explore new mechanics, but Turtle Pack is always strong and always solid. Its mechanics are the most simple to understand, yet it's very strong, so it's great for newer and experienced players to use. Some top competitive players, despite playing this game for years and years, never play on anything other than Turtle Pack. But us SAP players are lucky. The developers of this game are constantly striving for equality amongst the packs, and are getting closer and closer with each balance update. And each pack has its own playstyle, meaning competitive players will often end up gravitating towards 1 or 2 packs that they really vibe with. Now, here's a brief rundown of the other 5 packs, presented in the order that they were released. Puppy Pack. As I said earlier, Puppy is arguably the strongest pack right now. This pack has always featured a terrifyingly strong late game, which means if the Puppy player can preserve lives and enter turn 9 onwards with some lives remaining, they will likely overpower their opponent. The distinctive feature of Puppy Pack is its toy pets, which gives the team extra abilities in battle. Star Pack, my beautiful pack. During this month, it was viewed as being around the 4th strongest pack. The distinctive feature of this pack is the strawberry pets and mechanics. Interesting how I have barely bought any strawberries so far in this video. That's foreshadowing. Golden Pack. If Star Pack is the pack of 1000 defenses, then this is the pack of 1000 offenses. This pack shines with high tempo gameplay, taking lives from your opponent early and giving them many problems to account for. The pack's distinctive feature is trumpets, which can be used to trigger trumpet abilities or summon a really big dog. I know it sounds weird, but this will make sense later. Unicorn Pack, the most polarizing pack in Super Auto Pets. It is generally discussed as the worst or the second worst pack, yet the top players in this pack can beat almost anyone with it. Maybe we can consider this the Skill Gap pack. Its distinctive feature is mana, which can help trigger mana abilities, or just act as an extra snipe in battle. Danger Pack, and finally, the pack released in 2025, Danger Pack. It's pretty weak right now, depressingly weak actually, but balance updates soon are sure to fix it. It features some interesting transform and jump attack abilities, which I won't bother explaining. Yeah, you're not going to see much Danger Pack in this video. So, there are the 6 packs. A final thing to consider is cross-pack gameplay. Every pack has certain strengths and weaknesses into other packs. It is crucial that you know how your pack plays into the others. This is a key difference between top players versus the lower players. Lower players often do not consider which pets they should be valuing more highly into certain matchups. And here's a brief example from Star Pack. The Tier 2 Iguana. A seemingly harmless little guy who deals 2 damage to a unit that is summoned in battle. This little green fella is practically useless against Puppy Pack, but against Turtle or Golden Pack, it can single-handedly win you games. So to briefly review, Turtle Pack is the most commonly played pack, but all 6 packs are viable and they all have their own identity and playstyle. Experienced players learn to use their pack in certain ways into certain matchups. And finally, Star Pack is undoubtedly the coolest pack. Now let's get back to the gameplay. Wait, I do want to clarify one thing here as like an editor's note. Even though each pack has a distinct feature, something unique about it, you don't have to use that feature in the pack. Each pack will accommodate the distinct features playstyle in addition to other lines or builds that you can go towards. So yeah, that's important to know. And look, I've explained a lot in this video so far, but I will tell you the pace and the intensity is about to pick up. Seatbelts are mandatory. Let's get back to the gameplay. I lost some footage here, but I had gained 64 elo between the last footage you saw and this. Meaning this starts with me at 1664. Playing this session on my phone, I managed to rack up a few nice wins in a row, and surprisingly, finished this day at 1701 elo, good for 9th on the leaderboard. It's early days, but I was truly in the hunt for top 3. You can see here that after not playing for a couple of days, other players had swooped, and I sat at 19th on the leaderboard. At this point in the video, I just really want you to enjoy some gameplay. I played for about an hour and a half on this day, so let's enjoy a mini compilation with some unscripted commentary. Good luck to all of us. Okay, this is going to be a pretty long compilation for a few different reasons. Firstly, for the newer SAP viewers, you get a chance to apply your new knowledge and you can hear me talking through my thoughts throughout a game. Secondly, for the experienced SAP players, I'm sure you have been crying out for more gameplay in this video, so here it is. And thirdly, it's a pretty important stretch in the grand scheme of the month. So here we go, game 1 against Naughty User on Turtle Pack. For this compilation, I'm going to try to avoid explaining every pet and every ability because that will just be too laborious and exhausting and I'll have to talk fast speed like this. So instead, let's focus on the bigger picture stuff. And in this first game, there's not a lot to see here. This is just tempo, 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 foot on the gas. And newer viewers, you can't just tempo and win every game. I alluded to it earlier in the video. Tempo is a great way to put pressure on your opponent and try to win the game early. But if you try to force tempo in every single match and try to go for the knockout early, if the shop doesn't provide what you need, you will just die in the long term because you don't take enough lives early, they have enough time to set up, and they will win. But in this game, the tempo works. My Triceratops is perfectly countering the build that they're running. A famous build in this game in Turtle Pack, which is the Blowfish and the Hedgehogs. But we win. It's a nice tempo victory. Yay, tempo is good, right? Thank you for the 7 elo. Rematch. And uh-oh, the script has flipped. In this battle, in this game, sorry, I am the one getting tempoed. What is it, turn 4 here? It's turn 4, and I am bleeding lives. You cut me open and I keep bleeding lives. I'm down to 3 lives. Next battle. Uh-oh, they have found so much tempo through their hedgehog and camel. And have a look at that unit that the camel is buffing, the hippo. A famous unit in Super Auto Pets. You see it's gaining stats as it gets knockouts. So when you first start playing Super Auto Pets, the hippo is like LeBron James. You're like, how do I beat this guy? Look at him, look, bang. Camel buffs it in battle. Then the hippo starts buffing itself. Suddenly the Reverend is down to 1 life. I have taken Orangutan and Leech, which are slow pets. They are anti-tempo. But it's fine, I have a level up. Woodpecker and Blobfish are offered to me. You would normally always take your level ups. But I need to win this battle right now. And neither of these pets will help me win this battle. So it's a rare situation where I'm skipping a level up. I have 3 gold left, I need to buy something. Enter stage left, Toad. Toad is a phenomenal unit and will be a big part of today's video and how I play Starpack. When an enemy unit is hurt, which means it takes damage but does not die, the Toad will give it weakness. And weakness means every time it's attacked, it takes 3 extra damage. It's like an ailment, it's weakness. Have a look at this. Their hippo has weakness. My orangutan only had 8 attack, and the hippo had 9 health. But because of weakness, we're able to get through. And now I'm still on 1 life, they're on 5. They go for the knockout. But again, because the Toad gives the hippo weakness, we're able to get through. The Anteater cleans up. We're now skipping to turn 11. I'm still on 1 life, obviously. And it's always scary. Even if you think your team is better, the opponent can do one sneaky move in these situations. That's the advantage of tempo, I guess. Even if you don't knock them out really early, you have taken lives and you limit flexibility later. So what is my team? It's a big orangutan, it's some Sabertooth, which are summon pets, and it's an Anteater, which like the Toad is a tier 3 pet, so you get access to the Anteater very early in the game. In my humble opinion, there are like 600 pets in this game. I think the Anteater is top 10. And let's pay attention to what it does here. When the Anteater is going to die, it's going to summon ants. And ants are an interesting unit. They give stats backwards when they die. You can see right there, they're providing stats backwards, and we're able to win. But it's really, really scary. Now let's look at the opponent board. They had lives in hand, right? Because they were tempoing me early. They have transitioned into a leopard at the front and cats at the back. Cats provide insane scaling. Leopard will deal a snipe. Have a look at the leopard right here. It's gonna snipe start a battle to a random unit. Here I get lucky, it hits my Toad, which is protected. But basically my opponent... Actually, I'm sorry, I have to rewind here. And let's pause. We're both on 1 life at this point. My opponent has gone for a very, very large leopard, which is going to deal a random snipe. It hits the Toad, which is protected by armor. So that's lucky, right? We should win the battle now. Look at all the weakness and the stats. The Spinosaurus on my team is doing great things. But wait. Look at where the ant stats go. The ant hits the Toad there, which means we don't trade with the skunk. Here's a slow-mo replay. I got really unlucky. If this ant that's about to come right now, if it gave its stats to the Spinosaurus, we would have won this battle and it would be game over. But instead, we get bad luck on the 50-50 and we draw. And I was very upset about that. I was incredibly upset. And that's how Super Auto Pets goes sometimes. We're dealing with RNG on both sides. His leopard snipe is random. The stats that I get from my Spinosaurus and my Anteater are random. So when we both press end turn, as you can see, I'm still upset about the previous Anteater. When we both press end turn, often you go into battles, which if you calculate them afterwards, there are percentages that both sides could have won. That's the RNG in this game. That's why it's not chess. That's why it's poker. That's why it's baseball. You do your best to control the percentages. And here we go. My opponent has managed to get massive stats on the team. What is the Leopard Snipe? It kills my Anteater. That seems bad. But actually, I'm fine. I've stabilized. We're going to win this battle. We're going to win the match. Thank God we were not tilted and ropeable because of the bad 50-50 in the last battle, and we win. Fantastic. And I am fired up, as you can see. So there we go. First game, I tempoed. This game, I was tempoed, but was able to keep my head above water and get over the line. And now it's a rematch once more. And let's direct our attention more towards the opponent right now. My opponent, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, has made a similar mistake in this game to the last game we just watched. They're going for Cat Leopard once again. But I have a very rare strawberry line. You know, this is the distinct feature of my pack, strawberries. I'm actually using them in this game. We're going to get later, actually quite soon in the video, we're going to get to why I don't use strawberries. The star pack special ability very much. But in this case, I have a Sparrow at the back, and the Sparrow is going to turn the strawberries on my team into armor. So what this guy's got going on is a fine team, but I'm sort of safe from whatever he's doing. I'm protected in many respects. And we're going to go into battle here. Is my opponent on 1 or 2 lives here? I forgetty spaghetti. They're on 2 lives. So they're just going all in on like this Dodo and this Leopard, which is great, but my team has enough stats. And now in the final battle, they're on 1 life. My opponent's just all Leopard. Maybe that's all they know how to play. But my Sparrow is just good enough. My team is big enough. That's another win. My opponent didn't really factor in how to beat my team. And we're through. Now the next game, it's against Danger Pack. Halvard, can I continue the win streak? The answer, simply put, is yes. We're going to go to the last battle here. There's not much to see. Like, at the time of me playing this and recording, Danger Pack is just incredibly weak. So instead of belaboring the video by going through every part of this matchup, let's just say that I won, and let's move on to the main game of this compilation. And God, my heart was racing for the following game. It's me versus Golden Pack, great timing, Rev, and not just any Golden Pack player, Pad Timeson, aka Pelvis Presley, one of the best Golden Pack players. This guy is an incredible player. And we're going to watch basically the whole end game here. Have a look at how massive my team is for turn 11. I have huge stats, and we're going to win comfortably, but he has 4 lives, and he has a Cobra. Look at that unit at the back. The Cobra is a scary unit. The ability will be appearing on screen now, but basically, my huge stats that I'm generating can be easily whittled down by this Cobra. So this specific line that I've hit in Star Pack, which is Leech, Piranha, Orangutan. To put it simply, this is the best scaling team you can build in Star Pack. Your team will get massive stats. Orangutan provides health, Leech, Piranha provide attack. But we've got to pay attention. We need to really pay attention to this Cobra. Have a look at it right there. Every time the unit in front of the Cobra attacks, the Cobra will snipe. And right now it seems like we're safe. It's 2 lives each. We're safe. Wait a second, why is the Cobra at the back? It has 20 attack. Now it has 38? What did he just do? What kind of sorcery is this, Pelvis, aka Pad Timeson? And suddenly, my big stats mean nothing and we draw. Have a look at this replay. The Cobra sits at the back with 20 attack, but when the front 2 units, the Warthog and the Fire Ant, die, both of them work in unison to give stats backwards. So now I'm dealing with this Cobra in last position for him. And it is huge. Again, have a look at the Cobra at the back. And my big stats mean I'm able to get to the Cobra with lots of units on my board. But here we go, have a look at this. Bang, snipe, bang, snipe. Bang, snipe. Bang, we survive on 3 health! And it's a draw. But now I'm like, wait, you're telling me I've built this massive team and this one unit, this one Cobra is able to absolutely destroy me. So now I'm like, what? This is when you're in this situation, you can't just make improvements to your team. You need to think specifically, how do I beat my opponent? It's not just how do I make a good team, it's how do I beat my opponent. Here I ripped a lollipop on my orangutan and a lollipop on my triceratops, which swaps the attack and the health, because both of them are basically maxed out their attack. So now I've switched them around. Am I dealing with the core problem though in this Cobra? Here the Triceratops is generating some stats back that the Cobra is taking away. And we draw. Next battle. I switch my positioning, which I haven't really got into, but you know, like mixing up your positioning can be really beneficial. But do we even have enough? He almost has killed my trike. Here we get lucky in battle. My positioning change has worked and we're gonna win. There we go, game over, right? Congratulations to us. Can I have my ELO now? Wait a second, I'm gonna pause here. Turn 17. Look at his unit in second position. A flea with chocolate cake. What have you done? You've bought a tier 3 pet on turn 17, base stats 3 attack 2 health? Look at what it does. Similar to my toad, it's gonna give weakness. Now my leech and my orangutan lose their perk and gain weakness. And this Cobra absolutely destroys me. So now it's 1 life each. Genius move by him. So now I have to think, how do I deal with this Cobra? Suddenly my stats are extremely worthless because of this flea, but there is a unit in my pack. It is my favorite unit in Star Pack, and I'm glad I get to introduce it to you here. The donkey. 4 attack, 6 health. On turn 18, I'm gonna sell a massive unit to bring it in. And why is that? The donkey, when a unit on my team faints, the donkey will pull their back unit to the front. It is a pet that messes with the positioning of the other team. And he would know donkey exists, of course, but he would not be expecting it. So here's my donkey in second position. I'm not sure exactly what was going through my mind at the time, but normally you'd want to leech this Triceratops, but I run this order. I must have viewed this positioning as being ideal. And so let's say, has this donkey, this 4 attack, 6 health donkey on turn 18, is it going to be enough to turn the battle? He won the last battle convincingly, and here we go. His flea gives weakness. Watch when my starfish dies. Cobra comes to the front and gets no ability, or like it doesn't trigger its ability. There's nothing in front of it. And there we go, a single 4 attack, 6 health donkey out of the shop wins the battle on turn 18. We gain our ELO, and now with 20 days remaining after that little win streak, we sit at 3rd on the leaderboard. Okay, let's take a brief sidestep here to look at how I'm actually playing Star Pack. In the introduction, I alluded to a secret or unseen meta, and this is the part of the video where I'm actually going to break down what it is. Okay, just a quick disclaimer first. Since I recorded this gameplay in September, a balance update has happened, and depending on when you're watching this in the future, it's likely that even more updates have happened. So to avoid this guide being antiquated by the sands of time, I will focus on larger principles. Now let's get into it, starting with some context. So Star Pack was nerfed earlier this year, which I mentioned earlier, and this led to questions of the new best way to play the pack. Many people in August claimed it was through the strawberry lines, and I strongly disagreed. It felt wrong to me, and I was determined to prove it. This was the trigger for me locking in for this September plaque. So within Star Pack, there are sort of 5 distinct archetypes or lines. Usually in competitive play, you'll end up merging more than one of these lines together. But these pets within their lines synergize and enhance each other. The lines are the strawberry line, the roll line, the XP line, the scaling line, and the summons line. The roll line and the XP line feature some useful pets, but both are significantly weaker than in the past. The strawberry line features many pets that I acknowledge are strong, but my experience is that this playstyle can be heavily RNG dependent and leads to weaker endgame teams. It can really cook with the right shops, but over a larger sample size, it felt inconsistent and I just didn't like the boards it would build towards. The scaling line is solid, but weaker and less consistent than other packs' scaling lines. That's why I ultimately land on the Summons line being the best way to play Star Pack. So, without further ado, here is the actual guide to my playstyle. Step 1, tempo early and tempo hard. And then at the end, all roads leads to Vulture and or Spino in the endgame. The best pets early in the game in Star Pack, on tier 2, 3 and 4, work with the Vulture and the Spino in the late game, meaning you can kind of have your cake and eat it too. And as an extra note, I do leave the door open early for the Orangutan and Leech scaling line, but I never ever force it. So why do I think this works? Well, there's two main reasons. Firstly, while the Vulture and the Spino have always existed and been respected in Star Pack, newer additions to Star Pack like Ibex and Cheese, to name a couple, have elevated this playstyle. And secondly, this is the key part. The tempo early allows you to take lives from them, and then you can transition so easily into the late game if the game goes late. You are basically guaranteed to reach your end board first, meaning while your opponent is scrambling to find their final team with minimal lives remaining, you can spend your final turns buying perks or specific foods to win you battles. So as a final bit, this is really funny. Why am I calling this an unseen meta? Here is a screenshot from August, and not just any screenshot, this is Anon, regarded as the best Star Pack player in the world, and his tier list of Star Pack in August. Some people try to gatekeep their knowledge, but Anon is a pure soul, a very good person, and he always tries to share his knowledge with the community. You'll notice that many of the pets of my playstyle are ranked extremely low in his opinion. Most people would think I'm crazy for holding beliefs contrary to the GOAT of Star Pack. But I truly felt convinced that I was correct, and that's what you're seeing in today's video. It's really funny, honestly, if you think about it. No one else on the leaderboard in this video is playing Star Pack, and then no one playing Star Pack is playing it quite like me. Now, just a quick caveat here. I am not saying this would hold up as well in a competitive tournament where people could scout and anticipate this playstyle. And there will be times where all 5 lines are viable when the shops lead you towards it. However, for this video, we are basically just rejecting the Strawberry, XP and Roll lines while embracing all tempo along with Vulture and Spino, and seeing how far we can go with my new theory. Okay, and a quick editor's note to add on to this. Something to consider is my opponent's comfort, or rather discomfort, playing against me. So during this climb, I had multiple messages, I'm talking 10 to 15. After I would beat someone, they would message me and say, oh, you're the first Star Pack player I've played in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So that's actually an advantage for me. Whenever you go against a pack, you have a this is at the higher levels of the game, you sort of have like a preconceived expectation of how the player will play it. So people verse me and this is sort of how the process would go. Star Pack, haven't played that for a while. I remember how to play against this pack. And then the game progresses. Oh, this is not too bad. And then it'll reach a point where like, this guy's playing weird. Why is there a Vulture on the team? Why am I on 2 lives? Oh my god, I lost. So, I have the factor of unpredictability and confusion. This wouldn't hold up as well in tournaments, like I said, where I could get scouted. But for ranked, this is a secret weapon, and I was using it to full effect. And back to the gameplay. So after a few inactive days, my 1740 elo was down from 3rd to 7th on the leaderboard. And this day actually started horribly, with a loss to Molar Bear. Shout out Molar Bear, you bastard. Never to worry though, as I bounced back with a win over Marcelin Abadir, aka Saber. I actually won using a Sabertooth against him, which is just so rude. I'm playing on my phone again, by the way, which is why it looks a little bit different. So after Saber, I managed to beat X-Ray with a very unconventional Vulture and Pelican board. This win saw me reclaim 1740 elo, plus a little bit more, still good for 7th on the leaderboard. Now, the next run of games were absolutely fascinating, so we're going to enjoy a mini compilation together, highlighting some insane battles, and the Rev Star Pack meta in full effect. Okay, first game of the compilation comes against Dice Blessed, friend of the channel. Puppy Pack player. Dice is very much on his rise up the competitive ranks, but he is still a newer player in the grand scheme of things, but he knows Puppy Pack very well, and you'll see a lot of Puppy Pack. No surprise in this video, like I said at the start, one of the strongest packs. That's how it's seen. But he unfortunately ran into my army of capybaras. The ability will be on screen now. Basically, it makes your shop pets receive massive stats before you buy them in your team. I haven't used capybara all that much this video, but depending on who you ask, it's one of the best units in Star Pack. At worst, it is an A tier unit, extremely strong. And you'll see here as I roll. I now have an Anteater and a Hawk in my shop that I'm interested in. I rip my level. It's Vulture! It's Starfish, the 2 dream level ups. I'm going to take Vulture and have a look at the size of this Hawk and this Anteater, thanks to my Capybara. So I've managed to, of course, keep my tempo. We wanted tempo always. I found my early Vulture. I now have a very large Hawk and a very large Anteater to go along with my 12 attack, 8 health Guinea Pig. This is a lot for Dice to deal with. And remember, Puppy Pack players want to go late game. They want to save lives early and get you late where they get their powerful units. But suddenly he's on 2 health. And now next battle, you see again. He's trying to like hedge between being strong now and strong later so he can hit his pivot. But you got to proceed with caution if that's your approach, because you might just get tempoed out. And now on 1 life, he buys some strong units. And it looks like we're heading towards a draw or a loss, but what do you know? Vulture is cracked, Anteater is cracked, and we take the win. Thank you very much, Dice. The Rev meta, there it is. It's Vulture, it's Anteaters, it's Tempo, 1750 ELO. Here comes a Unicorn Packer in ROF Helps. And we're skipping straight to turn 7, where I have quite a similar board. It's Anteater, it's Capybara, and there's a Donkey, which is big stats for some reason. I choose to rip my level now. It's a Vulture once again. We're literally recreating the board. And it seems good. You would expect, if we head on our current trajectory, that we'll probably just win the next 2 battles. But Unicorn Pack as an opponent is not quite that simple. I said earlier that it's like the skill gap pack. The players who are good at this pack can really overpower people. And I do take a comfortable win here. So logic would follow that we'll win the next one comfortably also, right? That's how life always works, I believe. But have a look at this. Think about how we won the last battle comfortably. Without getting into too many descriptions, we just got absolutely smoked. And now, wait a second. Unicorn Pack's getting into a powerful late game. I'm on 4 lives remaining. A lot of ailments on their team, which is sort of like a hallmark of the late game of Unicorn Pack. If you go late game against Unicorn, you can expect all of your perks to disappear. But enter stage left the real Velociraptor. That pet in 4th position. The ability will be, hopefully on screen right now. It is a very good pet into Unicorn Pack. When they take away your perks, it will give you your perks back. And although we lose here and we're down to 2 lives, which would have the appearance of being scary, I was pretty confident we were going to work through this. And now with pug placement like that, my real Velociraptor will be a level 2, which means it will give 2 perks back once a friend loses its perk. We're going to lemon our pug. May as well rip this celery as well. And basically this is, you can think about this as the advantage of tempo. Remember what I said earlier, that you can take lives early and then get to your end board first? I found my end board. Basically, because they were on lethal or 1 life, I had one solution to find. I had one problem to fix, and then I could take that final life. And because like my opponent isn't scaling beyond belief, we were able to solve the problem. We didn't have massive stats to deal with. And suddenly, just like that, we solved the problem, we win comfortably. Shout out to ROF. I do enjoy Unicorn Pack, except when it beats me. Next game, Ant Elegant. I don't know who this is, but I'd be confident it's someone from the competitive scene. And this, we're just going to skip to the end of this game. This is a very common dynamic between My Pack, Star Pack, and Puppy Pack. And that's the whole concept of placing a Baguette properly. Baguette will remove a perk. His Panther has chili and is terrifying, but I removed the chili. Panther doesn't get to amplify the power of it. And without going into too much detail, basically I played the guessing game correctly, stole their perk, stole their ELO, and that's another win for the Reverend. Shout out Intelligent, whoever that person is. Next game, as we're at 1764. I think I actually stopped playing on this day. Oh, here we go, little ELO check. We're up to 4th place. You love to see it, but not that close to the top 3. And then a couple of days off, we're back, 15 days remaining. We're back on the computer, so it looks better. I'm in 7th place, and look at the lead that the top players have. Oh my god. Foreshadowing. Foreshadowing. And now we're in. First game of the day, Marcel and Abadir. Saber, do not let that ELO fool you. Saber is a very competent player. You saw me play him earlier. And what do you know, turn 11. I'm back into my board. The Rev meta. It's just fantastic. I love all of these units. I feel like I navigate them well. And Saber, he makes a mistake here. He goes for a Gorilla, which should theoretically work well against weakness, but look at that. It gets its coconut, and then it gets overwritten. So that's just a mistake, I would say. My Toad is totally countering his best unit. Excuse me. And basically he invested in the wrong unit. You would expect someone of his experience to not make that mistake, but we're all human, I guess. And we take a win. As I sip my coffee on my end. We're up to 1770. Last game of this compilation. It's Pelvis! It's Pad Times! And remember earlier, the donkey, the cobra? Yeah, this. Oh, this cobra's gonna destroy. Zoop. So now we're back against our good friend Pelvis, Pad Times, and once again. It's turn 7. You can't see it yet, but he is on 2 lives. I have tempoed the Golden Pack player, which is always an achievement. His board is kind of weird, but I'm guessing from his perspective, he thought that he could just navigate this problem, save a few lives. But alas, good breakpoints means he could not. And what do? To finish this game, I buy a preemptive, a proactive donkey. I'm like, okay, Golden Pack has many good units in 5th place that could win the next few battles for him. I'll buy a proactive donkey. And you're about to see that it is a tremendous, you know, it's just like a feel thing. I am an absolute sicko when it comes to playing donkey and mind games. And without going into too much detail, it totally messes up his order here. Combined with the vulture. His Nurse Shark cannot trigger. And we win. And now I'm feeling great. I'm rising. I'm on like a fairly good streak in my last 20 or so games. Not a lot of losing happening. We advance to 1780. But I will tell you right now, this is the point in the video where what was meant to be an exciting and uplifting moment turns into something much, much more sinister. Something had been eating at me throughout this entire climb. The top 3 players were so far above me, and yet I'd never heard of them. So naturally I asked around, and no one I asked had heard of these players. So I went to the SAP Dojo, which is the main competitive Super Auto Pets Discord server, and I made a post, basically just asking, does anybody know these players? And the main answer was, well, no. That's weird. Then there was some speculation that maybe it's a top player's alt account. So in Super Auto Pets, you can change your username whenever you like. So maybe, and sometimes it happens, top players will change their name so they can grind in anonymity and just play the game. But that's weird because people in the SAP Dojo are playing ranked all the time. And no one had ever come across these people. It just didn't make sense. And then came the consensus. These players are lobby players. So something I haven't explained in this video is that playing 1v1 is not the only way to gain ELO. You can also play 8-player lobbies. In these lobbies, if you win, you will gain less ELO than winning a 1v1, but you are also risking much less ELO, because only the bottom 1 or 2 players from the lobby lose a bunch of ELO.
This seems to be a balancing aspect between 1v1s and lobbies. But it's more problematic than that, which I'll highlight through a chain of messages from Chum, Skunkle, and Rekwar, all top 10 players in the world, so they know what they're talking about. Chum says that basically any name you don't know on the leaderboard is a lobby player. And later he adds, the people only spam Ellie Blow, or Horse with Summons so it's free elo. It would be boring, but they grind it up this way. Essentially meaning that the players in lobbies are usually forcing one particular build and their skill level is, at the risk of sounding elitist, not very good. Skunkle then raises the problem that lobby players can leave if they don't like the matchup, and Rekwar points out that this is the biggest difference or issue in the balancing between those who play 1v1s and lobbies. So let me explain this further. In a 1v1, once the matchup is found, you cannot leave without losing elo. However, in lobbies, there is a long time while the queue fills up, and if you don't like the matchup, you can just leave. This is a problem that has since been addressed by the SAP devs, but for this month, it was believed that the top 3 players on the leaderboard were using and abusing this method. And then there was confirmation. Multiple people saying they had been in a lobby, and one of these players had joined with their high elo, and then poof, they were gone, off to find a more favorable matchup, cowering in the shadows. And this was infuriating to me because I had another 90 elo to gain just to catch these people. And yet I could never match them. I never had the chance to take it. And now you can see with 11 days left, after I hadn't played for a few days, more had rose above me. So despite there being sightings of these players, I still had my suspicions that something more nefarious was happening. So I reached out to the main gameplay dev of Super Auto Pets, and I was like, sorry to bother you, but are these guys legit? And understandably, he didn't want to reveal any non-public information to just a random player like me, but he assured me, fear not, any cheaters will be dealt with. Okay, and as a quick side note, this was going to be a whole chapter of this video, but I'll just simplify it here. I was so upset with this predicament, this situation I was in, that I made an alt account and I went searching for these people. Like, you wanna run from me? I'll find you. And after a few days of attempting this, these were my findings. I did not find any of them, not even once, not even for a second, and I was looking in the lobbies to see if they came in and out, and I didn't find them. And thing number 2, Chum was correct. With respect to lobby players, and again, not trying to sound elitist, the gameplay was bad. It's likely that these players are just playing for fun and they're not really most lobby players I'm talking about, they're not really interested in improving and they just sort of force the same build over and over again. I played 14 games, I won 14 games, and that was the end of my alt account chapter, and now it was time to get back into the main grind at hand. So in total, I took an 8-day break in between games, and that was tactical. My idea was to let other people grind up their elo, so I had less to risk and more to steal. Unfortunately, this strategy meant I slid down to 11th on the leaderboard. Would my strategy pay off? Well, it was time to find out, starting with a game against LG. He is a player who has traditionally had a lot of success in ranked, and he's playing Golden Pack. I haven't really touched on it during this video too much, but Golden Pack is a terrifying pack to play against as a Star Pack player. They have many answers to our tricks or tech, and the matchup always feels strongly favored towards them. Luckily, in this game I found my way into a very strong board. I froze a donkey heading into the final battle in case I needed to bamboozle the golden player once again, but it was not needed, as we take the win and 9 elo. There was one more battle on this day against Swimwear Mario. I hit some juicy tempo along with an early vulture to secure a turn 7 victory, which is the fastest you can possibly win in ranked Super Auto Pets. Another 9 elo gained. I was now 7th on the leaderboard. Very solid, but still a country mile behind the leaders. So after this, I waited 1 day, then 2 days, then 3 days, then more. deciding that my best plan of attack was to once again sit on the sidelines, let other people build up their elo, so I had more to steal during my final push. And then something crazy happened. I heard rumblings of cheaters being caught. So I went to the leaderboard and boom, a whole bunch of the top names had vanished, confirmed as cheaters. So my fellow rank players believed that what they were doing was having two accounts, logged in on two different devices, queuing into each other, and then boosting one of their accounts' elo. That's suspected, but it probably is the case. And I have two thoughts about this. Firstly, not everyone who is not on the leaderboard now compared to the start is a cheater. For example, someone Sap Queen, I want to make sure I'm not slandering their name. Sap Queen was a legitimate lobby grinder who just fell down, but if you go back, you'll see some names that were quite high that are no longer there in the screenshot I just showed you. They are the legitimate cheaters. Sap Queen was not one of them. And secondly, to the people who were cheating, if you are watching this video, thank God the Sap devs caught you, and in my eyes, you are the biggest losers imaginable. For those who aren't involved in Super Auto Pets, we don't have like a whole history of cheating. Even in like the private competitive leagues, you can count on one hand how many examples of cheating there have been. It's not a big part of our community. And for these people to do it over a plaque in an animal emoji strategy game, you are the lowest of the low. And I hope you enjoyed spending 29 days wasting your time for absolutely no reason. Negativity aside, this was a joyous moment for myself and many other players. Now, with just over 1 day left, the leaderboard was clean, and we could all make our final push. I decided to play 2 games on this day, and the first came against Dash, who I believe is a Chinese player. There's like a Chinese community of Super Auto Pets, but due to language barriers, there's not too much crossover between them and the English-speaking players. And this game against Dash, I would describe this as Starfish hell. I hate the way I played this match. It goes against the way I want to play the pack, and I pinned myself in a corner, and finding a starfish was the only way out. And then I didn't find it. Minus 15 elo, and now 20 elo away from being top 3, and earning one of the highly sought after plaques. That's okay, I can play one more game and earn it back. I was matched with Umza, a very strong player who was using Golden Pack. I got destroyed. Maybe having so many days off playing was a mistake, as I was clearly playing rusty and suboptimal. And just like that, I was down 31 elo and now sitting in 11th place. So in my mind, I had to lock in for one big final session to push for the top 3 and get one of the sought after plaques. But there was one big problem. My son was very restless the night before, and I had been yawning all day. But now was not the time for excuses. I waited till my son slept that night. I had a dangerous 9 PM coffee, and then it was time to get busy and make my final push. The first game in this session came against Major Minecraft, a very competent unicorn player. This game settled into a classic Star vs Unicorn battle like we've seen before in this video. Him using ailments to tear apart my perks and my health, me using real Velociraptor and other counters in return. This game was honestly looking like a loss for a while, but I managed to stabilize and earn 7 of the hardest elo imaginable. Next was Tung 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 Sahur, someone who we will become very familiar with. This game was wild, honestly. I had him down to 1 life, but he worked his way into a strong Badger and Shark team, and I couldn't finish him off. I'll slow down the final battle so you can appreciate my fantastic positioning, plus the raw power of Vulture, Anteater, and Cheese. Plus 12 elo, GG's, we'll see you again shortly. Next came F, aka Rekwa on Danger Pack. At risk of making his head so big he can't fit through the door, Requa is a Super Autopets genius, a top 5 player in the world, and while he's playing on a weak pack in Danger Pack, that doesn't make this easy at all. You could give a top 5 player the worst pets in the game, and they would still whoop 99% of players. After a long, hard-fought battle that had both of us on lethal, he took a narrow victory. Minus 15 elo for me, and back to 1766. Okay, I have scoured my laptop for the next game or two, the footage of it, and I have no idea where it went, so I'll just tell you what happened. I lost. And at this point, I was tired, I was extremely frustrated, mainly with myself, and I was pretty close to giving up. But I had come so far that I just had to keep pushing. Then I queued into Kyogre. Who is that, you ask? Oh, just the greatest Super Autopets player to ever grace God's green earth. Don't let the low elo fool you. He finished number 1 the previous month and was likely just using this month in ranked to mess around. Regardless, playing 100% focused or not, beating Kyogre is never easy. And he was playing Star Pack. You'd think, as I'm a Star Pack specialist, I'd be very comfortable with the Star Pack mirror, right? Wrong. Same as other players, it's so rare for me to face a Star Pack opponent that the matchup just feels weird. I'm dead serious, Star mirrors always feel so odd to me. And as we get into the turn 11 battle, he had me on the ropes and down to lethal. I had leaned into some longer term scaling, whereas he went more for tempo. I luckily take the win on turn 12. And on turn 13, my pug survived on 1 HP to take the draw. Then turn 14 saw me take the win against the GOAT. Next game was against Hawaiian Monk Seal on Danger Pack, and I got rolled. Absolutely rolled. I now sat at 1741 elo, 57 down from my previous high of 1798, and I once again considered giving up. The top 3 seemed like it was so far out of my reach at this point. Something I haven't really discussed so far in this video is my place in the competitive Super Autopets scene. So I started playing CompSap 2 years ago, like I said, but I have been playing Super Autopets longer than that in the other game mode, the way the game was originally designed to be played, that's called Arena, and I was just making silly YouTube videos. Then I actually do join competitive SAP, and I fall in love with it. And I'm improving relatively fast, as a lot of committed players do when they join. But then life got in the way. My son is born, I moved country, and now I end up on the outskirts of competitive SAP as a respected player, but nowhere near the best. By the way, if this is your first time watching Super Autopets and you think I'm good, just wait until you watch the top players. They are absolute magicians. And as a result, right now, because I'm not that involved, if there was a private tournament and there was a draft and I entered, I'd probably get drafted in the 40s? Maybe? So there's at least 40 players who are better than me in the eyes of the community. But although I couldn't play, my interest never waned. And this month was the first time I'd really committed myself to anything competitive in about 6 months. And I was all in. So although my chance of a top 3 plaque was slipping away right now, this was the one time I had. And I just could not give up. I had to keep giving it my all and keep pushing. 7 hours remaining. Time for the last gasp. Enter stage left, our old friend Tung 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 Sahur. They once again tried Badger and they once again failed. 1749 elo. Then a rematch against Hawaiian Monk Seal. Revenge is a dish best served with hawks. 1757 elo. I set myself the target. Skunkle was in 3rd position with 1814 elo. meaning I needed 58 elo to get above him, and I had just over 7 hours to do it. Uh-oh, Requar is back. This wasn't going to be easy. Or maybe it was. His team was strong for turn 12, but mine was stronger. Up to 1767. Here comes Nugget 34 on Turtle Pack. This was a very rare Mantis and Okapi game for me, not my usual thing. But a well-placed Baguette on the final battle removes his Rabbit's Melon armor to keep the win streak going. And now we're up to 1775. Skunkle is now feeling within reach. Next was Girl Lock In, also on Turtle. Welcome to the Vulture Torture Chamber. 1781 elo, up to 9th on the leaderboard. Here comes the Cheese Touch. They make the same mistake Saber made earlier by running Gorilla against my Toad, and it cost them. Plus 7 elo. The Rev Star Pack meta is running like a well-oiled machine at this point, there is no more rust. And look who's back, Tung 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 Sahur. They must be so angry at my vultures at this point that they elect to run a Crocodile Parrot chain, which is intended to completely wipe out my backline. It's not enough, as some well-placed cheeses secure the victory. 1796 elo. Now needing only 19 more to rise above Skunkle and take 3rd place. I should clarify at this point that the month expired at 7 AM my time, meaning with 6 hours remaining, it was about 1 AM for me. But my plan was simple: get above Skunkle and take 3rd place, and put the ball in his court. Then Skunkle has to play more games to get above me. That was the plan, and I factored in that if I can get above that, I can sleep for a few hours, wake up at 5:30 AM before my son, assess the situation, and then play more games to get back above Skunkle. It's a good plan, right? It's a great plan. All that was needed was a few more wins to get there. And then we got Requar again. Sure, I was versing some players I should beat during this final stretch, but matchmaking made sure to give me a healthy dose of Requar and Kyogre to balance it out. This game showcased the full power of the Spino. It was a nice win and we were up to 1805 elo. But then I had to play him again. I grinded my way to a winnable position in the late game, but on lethal it would just take one unfortunate battle to be the end of me, and that's exactly what happened. A bad 1 HP breakpoint finished me, making up for the good Pug 1 HP breakpoint earlier against Requar, and I was back to 1790 elo. The win streak is over, but we just gotta keep going. Next was Taper. He's an interesting player, a bit of a pack journeyman who makes his way from pack to pack, and you never know how a game against Taper will go. Well, this one went pretty well for me. Taper, respectfully, what the hell is this? It was a turn 7 victory and plus 8 elo. And next, welcome back Tung 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 Sahur, my old friend! If you look at my turn 10 board, it is absolutely disgusting. We call this a high roll in the business, and absolutely no one was beating this team. Plus 8 elo, only 9 elo from taking 3rd place from Skunkle. The thought of being able to sleep was bringing a smile to my face. And next was Maurice. This matchup made me slightly concerned, if I'm being honest. I knew Maurice was a newer competitive player, and I had heard rumblings that he was improving fast. I had to question if his 1573 elo was truly representative of his ability. As we tune into turn 11, you can see he's found his way into a classic Turtle Pack formula. One big unit at the front with a snake behind it. Luckily, I'm able to use Baguette to remove the Ox's Melon armor, the Ibex to drop its health, which limits the destruction his snake can cause, and I'm able to secure the win. 1811, only 4 more elo needed to pass Skunkle. And now with it all on the line, who do we face? Well, there's only one worthy opponent, one fitting opponent. It's Tung 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 Sahur, welcome back. And for the first time in this video, we are going to watch this full match. No cuts, no scripted commentary, we're just going to enjoy it together. And that's because this is arguably the biggest Super Auto Pets match of my life. I think I've played some higher pressure moments in some of the private tournaments, like championship round matches and whatever. But in terms of an individual game, this is probably the most pressure I've been under. And so we're gonna enjoy it together. And let's see if I can get this one over the line. And this start basically plays itself for me as the star pack player. It's Pillbugs and Hummingbirds. And now an interesting dynamic. If the Turtle Pack player draws turn 1, they want to lose turn 2. And so it's called a throw round. So both of us this turn, specifically turn 2 against a Turtle Pack player, when the first round is drawn, you both end up setting your worst positioning. Because the Turtle Pack player wants to lose turn 2. It's a very interesting dynamic. Basically, it just relates to the snail. And they beat me, so they can get snail value on this turn. I won't explain it too much, but here we go. I rip my level. You know I keep the door open for Leech, but Leech doesn't make sense here, so it's Anteater all the way, my beloved. And you want to be gold efficient, so I have 8 gold to spend. I can buy this guinea pig. I can sell this mouse. Perfectly 3 gold remaining to buy my Anteater. And what I've done right here is similar to the game against Dash, the Chinese player earlier, and I said I hated the way I played it. I don't think I've played this incorrectly, but traditionally I don't like this board in Star Pack. I'm heading towards 2 level 3 units early. If I find a Starfish with this setup, I basically instantly win. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. But if I don't find Starfish, I will instantly lose. I don't like playing this way in Star Pack, but the shop has fed it to me, so I shall take it. And here's Tung Tung Tung. You would know better than me. Are they using Camel like a lot? And that's understandable. Camel is a good unit. And they would be hoping to find Rabbit. So now what do I do here? I'm rolling for a Pillbug level. I'm rolling for a Guinea Pig level. I'm rolling for a Hummingbird level. And here I'm spoiled for choice. I have, through the Bass and through the Guinea Pig in the shop, I have 2 levels. So do I sell my Hummingbirds? Do I stack my Hummingbirds? This is like, sometimes you have a problem in Super Auto Pets of low rolling, of getting nothing. I'm getting everything. It's a good problem to have. And I choose to rip my level now. And I hit the Toad. So I see a Camel on the other board. I know they're gonna pump stats into that Camel as much as they can. Toad is the great equalizer. And I don't have much to roll for. So let's hit a Broccoli. Let's get more health on our Toad. And at this point, my concern is if they can find a way to scale up this Camel very large, that will just create problems for me. But also at the other time, I'm not too concerned because I've played against this type of Turtle Pack opponent a lot. We've seen it a lot in this video. That is a large Camel. You see those snails? Those snails are giving attack to his team. That's why his Camel now suddenly has 10 attack. Double Orangutan in shop. And now it's Platypus and Elk. I'm hitting so many good units. Again, I'm spoiled for choice. But the Orangutans, I don't like using them into this big Camel. So I'm going to opt for some summons in the Platypus. This is the Rev GT way, right? I would often consider those Orangutans. There goes the Seaweed. So now it's a classic. This harkens back to one of the first like extended gameplay clips I showed you, which is tempo versus long term. We're back again, baby. I'm into my tempo. They're into their long term, but they did find a way to win the last match, which is scary. And look, let me repeat the fact that I was scared during this match. There's just pressure. And you know me, long-term viewers of my channel know that I will upload stuff win or loss. So let's see where this one goes. As we wait, the clock counts down. You usually want to use this time to plan your next move, so you can't hear my thoughts, thank God, but I would have been thinking next turn I'm looking for this, this, and this. And now suddenly, just through the power of Seaweed, we absolutely smoked them that round. They probably expected to lose. They're down to 4 lives. I'm on 5. And this is where something interesting happens. I roll into an Anteater and a Guinea Pig. So in order to take this Guinea Pig level, I need to sell something. But I have an Anteater available in shop. So my thought process here is, am I selling the Platypus or the Anteater or the Toad? And I think a lot of players in my position there would have just sold the Toad. But me, I'm a genetic freak and I'm not normal, and I will never sell that Toad. So it actually, I won't get into why that's not a fully optimal play by me, but according to the way that I play, that is extremely optimal. I wrote the meta in my own world, and I will not be accepting criticism. Now let's roll. What is it? Turn 6. Big crab, big camel, big health reduction on my end. And it's another nice win. So this is a classic. Remember, they're going for long term right now. You have to ask yourself, when is the tide going to turn? When is my tempo going to stop being as dominant? We rip a level here. Welcome back. Oh, you thought it was going to be Vulture. It's Ibex. So I don't know if I've included the ability specifically here, but every pack will have some kind of unit or some kind of tech that can reduce health of another team's big unit. So as the Star Pack player, whenever you see the other opponent going tall, which means making one really big unit, I take Ibex and I say, nice investment you've put into all of those stats, let me rip it away from you. And then I cheese my Anteater front position. The way that I'm looking at it is, they're probably going to have either a big crab or a big camel at the front. My Anteater now will attack for 15 damage. So surely it's going to get value in some sense. It's not guaranteed. Let's see. Do they put a big unit at the front? Will my Ibex and my other units be enough to rip through the rest of the units? Let's see. What's at the front? Big camel. Boom. They actually bring in Crocodile. So this is... I would absolutely guarantee that Tung 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 Sahur buying that Crocodile is calculated based on the way that I've been playing against them. They're like, oh, he's gonna have a bloody Vulture or something at some point, or Spider. Let me just start ramping up on Crocodiles. And that is a very legitimate tactic. In the past in Star Pack, that was even more legitimate. You just buy Crocodiles preemptively. The same way that against Golden Pack, I buy donkeys preemptively. It's a real strategy. So I think they're down to 2 lives, but if you look at their board, they're heading in a pretty good direction. So I'm making my reads, I'm calculating my positioning. Are they on 2 lives? They are. Get cheesed. Oh, maybe not so good. So now we draw and I'm scared. I'm absolutely scared. And I'm going to pause quickly here. The approach that you would think would be conventional right here. I have a level 3 guinea pig. I have a level 3 pill bug. Often the Star Pack player at this point would just hard roll Starfish, as I did earlier against Dash. Roll for Starfish, roll for Starfish, roll for Starfish. But I hate playing that way. I established that earlier. And I give it 2 rolls. I give it a chance. I don't find Starfish, and now we're moving off it. We're moving off it. I'm confident I can maintain enough tempo to get there. I see Vulture in my shop. I see a variety of good things, and now let's work through this. This Vulture is coming in, because of course it is. Excuse me. That Sabertooth is coming in, because of course it is. Let's go. I almost peel my Vulture, which would be an absolute tragedy, but also kind of funny. And something that's playing in my head here is, what if they buy another Crocodile? What if they buy another Crocodile, and then at which point my Ibex would die? If they don't buy another Crocodile, I can keep my Vulture at the back because it's protected by Pepper. But if they buy 2, it would kill my Vulture, and I just decide, you know what, let's play for a win right here. Let's take a gamble on positioning. And let's back our we back our Vulture! I've double-crossed myself. And now they buy a Leopard, so it's snipes galore. They kill my Anteater. But have a look at this. Oh my god, Toad, Vulture, Ibex, my classic combo. Can I rewind that? Okay, I totally messed that up, but we're back. I want you to pay attention to their camel. Melon armor gets popped. Now it takes damage and gets its health reduced by Ibex and gets weakness, and suddenly what seems like a loss, Vulture is rolling through teams. It's my classic combo. Ibex, Vulture, Toad. As long as they survive starter battle snipes, you often will win. But have a look at this. He has Crocodile, he has Leopard. He or she, they, Tung 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 Sahur. They are adapting to the playstyle that I've presented. I have a chance to buy, sell a Pillbug, Pill or Blobfish. I say no. I'm gonna rip Chocolate. They are on 1 health. I just need to win right now. There's a chance this Ibex is gonna die start a battle. And now with 3 gold, none of these units are really what I'm looking for. These are not the droids you are looking for. And with 1 health on the opponent, I just need to pray for a good... I think there are percentages that either team could win this battle. I just need to hope for the right snipes. The Leopard is a random snipe, remember. It hits my Koala. My Vulture survives on 1. You're weakened, your health is dropped. Vulture is incredible. And we win. And now against all odds, I have claimed 3rd position. Skunkle, the ball is now in your court. I can take my rest, wake up in a few hours, and assess the damage. Let's go. I woke up to my alarm at 5:30 AM and instantly went to check the Super Auto Pets leaderboard on my phone. I knew that the top 2 players were so far out of reach, but I also knew that Skunkle would be monitoring and would have seen that I had taken 3rd. And then I looked at the leaderboard, and what do you know? Skunkle, who is a legend of Super Auto Pets, lost a few matches and was down to 1786. So now with 90 minutes remaining, I'm in 3rd place, and I'm monitoring the activity below me. Pad Timeson, the Golden Pack player who you've seen a lot, he was in 4th, and he gave me his assurances that he would not challenge. And then I had to look at the people in 5th, and 6th, and 7th, and wait and see. After what seemed like an eternity, there was 8 minutes left on the clock. Probably not enough time for me to win another game, but enough time for someone to leapfrog me. So anxiously, I sat and I waited. With 1 minute remaining, I sat watching the final seconds count down, feeling every emotion under the sun. Exhaustion, relief, and pride, mainly. Before this month, no one would have expected me to feature on this leaderboard, let alone top 3. Me, someone on the outskirts of the competitive scene. Me, forcing pets that are disregarded by other players, and in a pack that almost no one plays. Me, a sleep-deprived older player who made his name in Super Auto Pets for silly YouTube videos. As the final seconds ticked away, I watched the new month roll over, and the mission was complete. RevGT, the kooky Star Pack player, had finished the September ranked month in 3rd place. Okay, we secured the plaque, and you can see it on screen somewhere around me now. And just to close this video, I want to say 2 quick things. Firstly, to the experienced SAP players and viewers, I hope you enjoyed this new concept of a video, and I hope in some capacity I've inspired you to do your own grind within the game, whatever that may be. And secondly, to the newer viewers, in many respects this video was an invitation into Super Auto Pets and the community. So if you want to play the game, it's free, and there are some Discord links below you can join. Tell them Rev sent you want to learn, and people will happily teach you in whatever way you want to learn. But if you don't want to play the game and you just want to watch good content, I myself am like that with many YouTube subcategories, then subscribe, because I have a movie coming up, another one hopefully within the next month, and the more support I get, the more I can do this. I would love for this to be the direction of the channel, so any support is appreciated. And yeah, I'm out of here. We did it. God bless you. I'll see you in the next one.